There seems to be no good reason why Fort Halleck, Nevada, should not be abandoned. It is 12 miles from the railroad and possesses no paramount importance as a strategic point. The settlers are interested in some degree in keeping up the post in order to have a market near at hand for grain and other supplies they can raise. It is, considering its size, the most expensive post in the department.
These were the words of General Oliver Otis Howard when talking about Fort Halleck. The fort was originally built in 1867 to protect emigrants on the California Trail and the crews building the Central Pacific Railroad. The fort sat in the middle of nowhere with 2 full companies of U.S. Army troops keeping watch. Their mission: keep an eye on the supposedly hostile Shoshone and Gashute tribes. But there was a problem with that. The tribes, outgunned and outnumbered, weren't in the mood for a fight. Instead, they faded into the landscape. Not a single shot was fired in anger at Fort Halleck. The soldiers, meanwhile, found themselves shuffled off occasionally to more serious conflicts, fighting the Modocs in Northern California in 1873, chasing the Nez Perce through Idaho in 1877, clashing with the Bannock in Oregon in 1878, and sweating it out in Arizona during the Apache Wars of 1885. All the while, Fort Halleck sat forgotten on the edge of the desert, its men enduring a dull and punishing routine. The weather was brutal, the supplies were basic, and entertainment was nearly non-existent. The only flicker of life came from a scrappy little trading settlement that had sprung up next to the post, eager to supply the fort with anything from flour to whiskey. The officers had it slightly better. They got occasional invitations to local ranches for dinners and dances. After one such evening in 1875, a young officer, a bit late leaving the festivities, rode back to the fort beneath a bright moon. Just as the quiet of the night settled in, it shattered. From the sagebrush came war cries and the crack of rifle fire. Terrified, the officer spurred his horse hard, tearing across the desert toward the safety of the fort. As he galloped into the compound, shouting of an Indian attack, the garrison sprang to arms. Soldiers scrambled from their bunks, rifles ready, eyes scanning the horizon for danger. But no attack came. Not that night, not the next, or the one after. Reinforcements arrived ready to fight, but no trace of hostile Indians could be found. Because there were no hostile Indians. The attackers were actually desperate traders from the nearby settlement, men who had built their livelihoods around a fort that was constantly on the brink of being shut down. With peace settling in and rumors swirling of the army pulling out, a few enterprising residents had decided to stir the pot. Draped in blankets and armed with noise, they staged a nighttime ambush on the officer, hoping to create just enough panic to make the fort seem relevant again. It worked. The fort stayed open. And Fort Halleck, saved by a handful of fake Indians in itchy wool blankets, would remain active for another 11 years. Its most dangerous battle waged not against warriors, but against irrelevance.